Hi, I'm Dave Bryce with Keyboard Magazine, and we're here at Roland's U.S. headquarters in sunny Southern California to take a look at the RD-800, their latest stage piano. The RD series is Roland's longest existing line of products, going back to the RD-1000 in the 80s, and it's gone through many changes in its growth, and the RD-800 represents the latest and best of everything that Roland's got as far as sound technology, physical playing features, and just general sound. Basically, you've got a brand new key bed in this thing. The key bed is weighted and balanced and feels fabulous with an ivory surface, but the main feature of the key bed that makes it different than everything else is the resolution of the key bed is over 100 times finer than anything that Roland has put out before. So you get really nuanced playing capabilities, the ability to really dig in from the softest playing note to sounds wonderful and feels really, really responsive. There are 5 different piano sample sets in the instrument with over 34 variations. Plus, you get a really, really extraordinary sense of control over what it is you can do. If you enter into the piano designer, you can see that there's a whole bunch of different parameters that can be changed. You can fine-tune the string resonance, key-off resonance, hammer noise, character, things like that. So you can really customize and tweak this instrument to your individual playing style and what it is that you like to hear out of an instrument. The interface is really easy. If you can take a look, you have sound selection happening over here and customization happening over here. Essentially, there's 10 categories, and within these 10 categories live over 1,000 sounds. So this is not anything you want to be using necessarily to jump around to sounds in a live application. Essentially, for that, you use the live set buttons up here. You can store a favorite for each one. So, you can store your favorite acoustic piano or your favorite organ or your favorite one bass. But to move around for live applications, you want to be making live sets. Now, a live set can be up to 4 sounds combined through layering or through splitting. Layering is real easy to take a piano and layer it with strings. You hit the piano and then hit the string button, and they're layered together. With individual volume control over here. So you have the pianos and the strings. But then if I wanted to add in a pad choir on top of it, I hit all 3 of them together. Back out to just piano. It's really nice. Another thing that's new for the RD-800 is a brand new upright piano. Which is really good for, nice sounds. In addition to the acoustic pianos, there's a bunch of electrics. Time pianos, and you have also all kinds of variations to scroll through. But it's not just the pianos that take advantage of the supernatural technology. A lot of the other sounds, the clavs, and the organs. Tons of clavs in here. Where's a wah clav? There's one. Very real, a lot of fun with compression. I could do this all day long. Let's take a look at some of the organs. Now you see an organ sound. That's really just going to be some samples. No. Supernatural strikes again with tone wheel technology. and it gives you full control. You see only 4 sliders over here, but if we go into enter mode, you can see that we can actually move the sliders, these 4 or these 4. We have full control over percussion over here. Leslie control on and off. Let's take a look at this side of the keyboard for a minute. In addition to these 4 sliders, which you've seen me use a couple of times, we have a bunch of knobs that can be used for different purposes. Over here, these 4 knobs can be used in any of 3 layers. There's an equalizer that gives you not just a low and high shelf, but also 2 mid-range controls. Okay, so we can set the EQ the way we want, and then turn it on and off using this control. The next layer gives you delay, so you have the types of delay that you can use, everything from tape delay through multi-tap. There's a level control, feedback, and time. And then you have assignable knobs down here, and the assignable knobs are set up at the beginning before you mess with them. The first 2 are attack and release, and the second 2 give you cutoff and resonance. So all the parameters that you would expect to be able to edit. Up here on the same row, there's a dedicated reverb knob, which obviously does reverb. But then there's this one called tone color that's actually a different actual physical color than everything else. So for example, if you're in a piano program and you turn the tone color knob, what happens is you get stereo width and panning key follow. And you can see in the display, as I change it, it changes from 1 sound source in the middle out to 4 sound sources, which then individually widen as I go. So let me actually play through that. Sorry for my bad playing. See how much wider that sounds? It's really, really nice. On the other hand, if I go to one of the electric pianos, now what the tone color knob does is it actually changes. There's a bunch of different models in here for the Tine electric piano: silver, top, Mark I, Mark II, and dyno. And you can actually in real time change. And then once you find a tone color you like, of course, that can be saved to a live set for later recall. On the lower row, you have 3 sections: a modulation FX section, a tremolo section, and amp sim. Going backwards, amp sim, well, it's exactly what it says it is. There's a drive control, which you can then turn on and off. So turn it on, and then overdriven electric piano. Of course, tremolo is exactly what you'd expect. And let me turn the amp sim off. Turn that back on. We have depth and rate control. Slow it down. That's a beautiful sound. A little deeper. I missed the drive. See how easily I was able to customize that to taste? A little bit of overdrive, a little bit of trem. And the modulation effects over here, the last section, are things like chorus and phase and flange. But there's a whole bunch more, actually, that you can get into once you get into the modulation effects. So to get to that, we enter the program, go down to modulation effects, and you can see everything from EQ. I'll just let you see some of these as I'm scrolling past them. A slicer. That's cool. That's for the kids today who like that slicer effect. Flanger, step flanger, all kinds of choruses and compression and the distortion and overdrive. Sustainer, a gate effect, modulation, delay, all these things available under the modulation effects. So there's actually a ton of effects that can be applied to this piano, once again, allowing you to really, really fine-tune and tweak the piano to your individual tastes, playing style, repertoire, whatever it is you're after. The only other thing that really needs to be covered is over here we have rhythm and song mode. Rhythms are if you just want to get a pattern going and play along with. Regular piano up with it. over 200 rhythms to be able to choose from. The only other thing that needs to be discussed is that there's an audio recorder over here, and the audio recorder lets you record your performance along with rhythm tracks if you want. It stores it as a WAV file, full resolution, and you can use a thumb drive in the back of the instrument, USB thumb drive, to be able to record as long as you want, depending on the size of the thumb drive. In terms of being a MIDI controller, this is a little bit better than the average digital piano. First of all, there's 2 MIDI output jacks. Each one can be configured with what channels it's sending and what information, but basically you can have different control for different modules. You can really fine-tune what it is that you are sending through the MIDI outputs. One of the things that you really need to understand about the live sets up here, which is really the things that you use for live performance, is that not only are the programs and the effects stored, but all the controllers can be individually configured. So if you've only got one momentary pedal, and you want to have it do sustain on one program and something different on a different program, you can store that as part of the live set as well. There are 10 live sets that are available instantly from the front panel, and there are 20 sets of those that you can select from. So there's 200 live sets that you can choose from and configure for your own taste and performance. In terms of inputs and outputs, the RD-800 has everything you would expect from a professional digital piano. There's a set of 1/4 inch and XLR balanced outputs. There's also a stereo 1/8 inch mini jack, so you can connect an iPad or an iPod or some other sort of device to be able to play along with. Another thing that's noteworthy about the RD-800 is it's lost almost 10 pounds since the RD-700, so it makes it a little bit easier to lift and carry and move around, which is always a plus. Anyway, the RD-800 will street for $24.99 and will be premiering at Winter NAMM in Anaheim in 2014 and should be hitting stores shortly thereafter. Once again, I'm Dave Bryce with Keyboard Magazine. Thank you so much for taking the time to look at this fine instrument. Nasty sound. I like that a lot. Let's take a listen to some strings. So there are 10 categories in this instrument. 2 of them are acoustic pianos, 2 of them are electric pianos. You have your clavs, your organs, your strings, your pad choir, your bass, and other. When you get a chance to check out this instrument, make sure and spend some time in the other category because there are literally hundreds of sounds hiding behind this button. Everything from like woodwind sounds, saxes. But this is also where you'd find all the synthesizer stuff, leads and pads and there's a lot of sounds also in the bass category. There's almost 200 different bass sounds, everything from acoustics to more synthesizer sounding type of things. drive. Nice, fat, full, fun.